Today, I want to talk about a topic that quite a few people have been asking me about. So I thought I'd address it and do a Goya mentorship lesson today. So some people have reached out to me to ask me, well, Anil, you've left the industry of MLM and network marketing and direct sales, and you're now involved in real estate, Airbnb, property management, property rental. So how were you able to transition from a totally different industry over to another industry over the last while? Well, it's very simple. I've trained myself to understand the importance of what's called reset. Now, reset is an interesting topic because when you look at reset, it involves a bunch of moving parts and a bunch of different things that need to be taken very seriously. Because it's not easy coming out of one industry that you've been a part of for decades and then jumping into another industry. So I'll talk to you today about what I do that works really, really well. And I found it works for me most of the time. What I do is there's a saying in business and in life I live by. It's called take the best and leave the rest. So let me repeat that. Take the best and leave the rest. So what I did is based on my involvement in network marketing and MLM, I took the best out of that whole industry, that whole platform, and I brought it over here, what I'm doing. So even though I'm hitting the reset button to get myself involved in a totally different industry, I have also brought along some various elements that work really well, like organizational skills, experience, discipline, structure, understanding how numbers work, doing game plan strategies, understanding what the need in the market is, working with clients, communication. Those are important facets of running a successful business. Okay. And here's another thing I left behind. I left behind my ego and my pride. Now, that's a big one for some people. Because you'll hear people say stuff like, well, if it's got to be, it's up to me, and I'm not going to quit, and I'm going to see this through, and I'm going to make this happen. Well, that is fine. I mean, that is okay. I mean, it's your life. You can live it however you want, but you got to take some things into consideration. For example, businesses take money to run. So, do you have money coming in from a job or a consulting gig to cover and finance your business as it's building? You got to take that into consideration. You may have savings that you're using. You may have inherited money, maybe someone supporting you and paying your way. But you got to really take that into consideration because a lot of people, they have the mindset, well, I'm going to do what I got to do and to hell with everybody. And this is my dream and this is what I'm going to do, blah, 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 blah. Well, what ends up happening is people end up getting hurt. Okay, because of my pride and ego. So I'm very sensitive to that. Whatever I'm doing, I do not get anyone involved, either financially, emotionally, their time, till I get flat on what I'm doing. For example, with what I'm doing with Estate Host, I came off Facebook because technically I didn't need it. I spent about 6 months really understanding the platform. So every day I would do research, I would learn, understand what I'm in. I didn't get anyone involved. I didn't call anyone for money. I didn't call anyone for their time. I didn't call anybody to say, hey, stop what you're doing and join me over here. All I did was I hooked up a bunch of people with their properties, and I connected with a few people that are already in that industry. And I wanted to partner with them because I wanted to learn from them and also see if they wanted to collaborate. So when I'm doing anything on like building a platform, I'm very, very careful and sensitive about bringing people into it until I get flat and get straight on what it is I'm doing. So that's all part of the reset process. Because remember, when you pull someone into something, you're also in a way technically responsible for them. Okay. Now you could say, well, no, Anil, I'm responsible to them. Well, no, in a sense, you're also responsible for them because especially if you made them a promise, especially if you got on your soapbox and says, I'm gonna do this, this is gonna get done by so and so date. I'm gonna see this through working with you, and I promise you by this time, this you're gonna see money coming in. So yeah, you are responsible for that person if you made those promises. Because remember, we're not talking about network marketing and MLM anymore, where people are solely responsible for their outcomes because they're independent contractors. We're talking about you building something and pulling people into it and making them promises. So be very careful with that. Why is that? Because you can lose your credibility really, really quickly. And one thing I'm also very sensitive to that you want to pay attention to is called burning through contacts. You want to be careful burning through your contacts because you're going to have a bunch of upset people and people, you know, waiting, rolling their eyes, going, yeah, you've been saying this for years. Where is it? Where is the outcome? Because remember, time is valuable. Time is a commodity we can never get back. So we want to be very, very careful making people promises that we know we may not be able to deliver on. So here's another aspect of resetting, cutting our losses and licking our wounds. So as you all know, I was part of another industry before coming into estate host with Airbnb and real estate and property management and vacation rentals. And I had to have conversations with the people I was working with in that industry to let them know, hey, this is no longer for me, but I'm not going to hide out or ghost you. I want to have a conversation with you and let you know that I'm transitioning into something else that I think is more in alignment with me. Because I'm of the belief there's only so much time I can give something before I realize, you know what, I need to cut my losses, I need to lick my wounds, and I need to move on. It's the same with a relationship. I've been in relationships where I put my all in, 100%. But the other person on the other side, she was not invested 100%. So at some point, you have to bow out and say, you know what, based on what's happening right now, I don't think this is going to go anywhere because I'm invested, you're not. I'm putting in all the work, you're not. I'm not making excuses and stories, you are. So it's the same in business. Business and relationships they run parallel. They're very, very similar because remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. So you can't say, well, I'm one way in business and I'm another way in my personal relationships. No, they get impacted. You can't say, I'm one way in my personal relationships, I'm one way in my finances. No, they get impacted. You can't say I'm one way in my finances and I'm another way in my health. No, they get impacted. So business relationships, personal relationships, finances, health, even spirituality all run parallel to each other. So don't fool yourself thinking, well, you can slack off in one and the others don't get impacted. It doesn't work that way. I promise you, let your health fall apart and watch everything else around you fall apart. Watch what happens when your finances fall apart, when you have no cash flow coming in consistently to take care of what you got to take care of. Watch how your health and everything else gets impacted. So be careful what you tell yourself, okay? Because part of the reset process is getting flat on what you're up to and really understanding what it is. And also cutting your losses, licking your wounds. Here's another aspect of reset that's very, very important. You may have to learn new disciplines and new skills. Maybe before you didn't need them, but maybe you do now. For example, I've had to learn and discipline myself about the real estate world and the Airbnb world and the property rental world and property management world and hotels and resorts and homes and condos and RVs and yurts and cottages and aircrafts and houseboats and bed and breakfasts. I had to really, really, really understand how those industries work, how the clients think, what their needs are, what needs to be addressed, what's missing. So it required me learning those things. But here's one thing I got out of transitioning into this industry. It takes me less time than it did in the other industry. This is not an industry I have to give a lot of attention to. Because once I identify a client that wants their property looked after and they need rental income coming in, all we have to do is now set up the client once, and that client is on the system for life. So it doesn't require a lot of my time. So one thing I freed up a lot of is my time. So then I could participate in other things, like, for example, being part of guest relations and operations and doing other things within estate host to support the team and support the platform. So I wanted to do this quick lesson around reset because people are like asking me, Anil, how are you transitioning with this? This is quite interesting because I mean, it's difficult for me to leave one industry and go into another, or it's difficult for me to quit a job and go start another job in a totally different platform. How do you do it? Well, remember, a lot of it has to do with your mindset and attitude. You have to want it bad enough to do something about it, and then you got to discipline yourself. You have to discipline yourself. A lot of the times, I am by myself. It's me, myself, and I. Okay? No support from anyone, not even family, because I don't talk about what I'm doing with a lot of people because I don't want, again, I don't want to impact people and pull them into my dream that may become their nightmare. Okay? I, I don't want people to think they need to join me in anything because I'm blowing and going, because it could become a horrific nightmare for them financially, time-wise, time away from family. So I'm very careful with that. Okay. And again, that's another reason I love the industry of network marketing and MLM is because, yeah, I may believe in a company and an owner and a platform and products and services, but me bringing someone into it may not work out for them. And I have to be aware of that. Like I have to be responsible around that. So with this, with what I'm doing right now, the only thing we do is help someone get their property set up properly for property management and generating cash flow. There's no investment, there's no upfront money, they don't have to pay any monthly fees. Yeah, they may have to spend a little bit of money getting their property all set and ready for Airbnb and VRBO and Expedia and Booking.com and Travelocity and Orbitz and all the other platforms you market on vertically. But that's it. And then Airbnb takes their percentage, estate host, we take our percentage, and then the client keeps their percentage. So the client keeps about 80% of the booking. So that's remarkable. So imagine before someone didn't have cash flow coming in for their property. Now they have that happening. So remember, folks, reset is a great thing. Just keep in mind what I covered today. Okay, you're going to have to take some time to understand what you're in and master it. You may have to lick your wounds and, take your losses if things are not working out, and you need to be quick figuring that out. Not taking years. You need to be quick. And you need to be able to bounce back really quickly. Like, don't stop doing something and take 5 years off. Okay, try and make that turnaround as quick as possible. Do your best not to stay in a state of depression or sadness or victim or feeling sorry for yourself or life is hard or woe is me, poor me. No, don't stay in that mindset very long. Snap out of it. Because remember, time is not waiting on you. Your family's not waiting on you. Bills are not waiting on you. The people you owe money to is not waiting on you. The people you made promises to are not waiting on you. So guard your reputation and your name. Don't let a business idea or a business platform cause you to tarnish your name and reputation. Be very, very careful with that. Keep money and your name and reputation separate. Don't destroy your relationship with yourself and others over money. That's a stupid, dumb move. That's a stupid, dumb move. Be careful with that. Because once your name and reputation is damaged and people can't trust you or listen to you or take you seriously, and they look at you as a flake, it's game over. It's game over. Okay? No one's gonna follow you into a burning building anymore. It's like that Aesop's fable with the fox that it's like the Aesop's fable with the boy who cried wolf. He thought he could play a prank on the villagers to see who would come running. And he kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and people kept running with their torches to save him. And eventually he cried out, no one came, and that's when the wolf showed up and devoured him. So be careful. Protect those relationships in your life because you want those people to be around that you value for a long time. So don't screw that up over $20, $100, $500, $1,000, $10,000. Don't ruin your reputation with people over money. Be very careful. It's better to walk away from a deal. It's better to walk away from a platform. It's better to walk away from a situation than to ruin your name and reputation. So keep that in mind with the reset. And of course, last but not least, follow through on your promise and to others and the promise to yourself. If something's not been working, it's been years, maybe it's time to cut your losses, lick your wounds, and move on. Don't let your ego and pride get caught up in it. Well, I'm going to make it happen. If it's got to be, it's up to me. I'm going to see this through. Yeah. And when you look behind you, there's casualties. There is loss. Time is gone that you can't get back. So you got to be smart and shrewd and discerning enough to know when to cut your losses and walk away. Trust me, it was very difficult for me to walk away from the industry of network marketing and MLM because I loved it. I got my high from it. I got my attention. I got my recognition. I was great at it. But at some point, I realized, you know what? I need to make some shifts because I want to build something for myself. I want more time. I want to, relax more, chill more, go to the beach more. not be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And like I said in one of my videos, to stop signing people up in things and having them fall away to the wayside and be casualties. I was done. I had enough. I had even my health was suffering. Even my health was suffering. For once in my life, it was in aches and pains, and that had to stop. I'm not okay with aches and pains at all, period. So now my health has bounced back. It's improved. I'm focused and dialed in. I've been disciplined, structured, organized, like I talked about. I've cut my losses, licked my wounds, moved on, talked to the people I had to talk to so they understand and they've been supportive. And understanding that cutting my losses and licking my wounds is not a failure. It's being smart, shrewd, discerning, and making smart decisions, not only just to benefit myself, but to benefit others that I want participating. So again, this is Anil with Goya. Goya is get off your ass. So as I mentioned today, I had to get off my ass with certain aspects of my life, and it's gone great. So I wanted to talk about this today because some people have been calling me and messaging me, asking me, Anil, what's going on? You're not in network marketing anymore. You're not in MLM. And again, I have a lot of respect for the industry and I value and appreciate everyone who's still part of the industry. So this video is not to knock the industry. This is video to talk to you about what I've done, my decision, and what I've been doing the past while to transition with the reset properly into a state host with Airbnb, property management, vacation rentals, helping people generate cash flow for the 18 million properties that are currently sitting empty in Canada and the US, not to mention Mexico and other countries that we're opening up. So thank you for hearing me out. If you want to have more conversation and dialogue around this, maybe you don't know how to make the switch from what you're doing, hit the reset and stay in momentum and start creating, reach out to me. Let's talk because I'll help you figure it out. But remember, I'm going to have a conversation with you about your pride and ego. So if you're unwilling to let certain things go and cut some things loose and cut some people loose and start making better decisions, then maybe you and I are not ready to speak as yet. Maybe you're not ready to have that conversation. So go through what you got to go through. And when you're ready, I'm here, hopefully if the universe and God and source has been generous to me and I'm still breathing, I'm here. So you can reach out to me at any time, so we can have that straight up, heart to heart, to the point conversation, with some kicks and hugs. I'm here to support you. So thank you for listening to me today about the value of reset. And I hope I clarified your questions to me about why I transitioned from one industry to a totally different industry, and I'm having the time of my life and having fun. I wish I had done this sooner. This is like really, really cool. And I'm learning some new things about myself as well. So have a wonderful day where you are. Have an enjoyable day, productive day. Be safe, be smart, make smart moves with smart people. And remember, always watch your back and be careful because sometimes we can hurt ourselves and take ourselves out of the game. So be careful with your conversations. Have a great day.